guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun white trip sweep. Pros X go. On one. Ready?
Ready.
What's going on, everyone? Incap24 here from HuddleGG, and today I'm going to give you a defensive tip on something that I want to make sure that you understand not to do when you run a certain coverage. Now, this is the first time checking out our channel. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification to make sure that you never miss any of our uploads. Mike Blitz 3 is a very popular type defense, something I run myself when it comes to mixing it into my defensive game plan. And it's something that you're going to see a lot of the popular streamers use. And I want to talk about the way that they use it and the way that you may see it being two different things, okay? So what I want to do is go into Mike Blitz 3. And a lot of times I talk to players, I go into streams, and I do different things to where people don't understand why their zones don't work the same way that their favorite streamer does, you know, one of the pro players. And what they're going to see is they're going to see something like this where it looks like that, okay? You got curl flats with hard flats underneath. And sometimes they're just checking to make sure that they've got their setup right, and you're going to see this as the final result, right? You don't see what buttons they pressed. All you see is that this is the final result. Well, the easiest way to do this is to go ahead and shade over the top and then put the two players underneath in hard flats. So if you're looking for the quickest way, that is absolutely the quickest way. However, the curl flats don't play the same way when you shade up. And I want to make sure you understand that because they don't play the sidelines the same way, and that is something that really affects the way that your defense can do. And I'm going to show this here on a simple example, right? All I'm going to do is put the Y on a curl route and the X on a out route. And what you're going to see when I have these guys set at 20 yards and 5 yards when it comes to curl flats and hard flats, this curl flat, when shaded up, is going to jump the Y and leave the X wide open on the left side, right? Now, it's just a route combination. Not a lot of people will use it. It's something that's more popular in a trips tight end situation, but it is a formation that if you know that people are shading up and they're not using, you know, the way that I'm going to teach you how to do it, then it's going to affect you, right? Now, just so you're aware, the curl flats will play different when there is not a hard flat underneath it as well. So I'm going to show you that. All I did was shade it up, and what you're going to see here is that without the hard flat underneath it, you can see he doesn't jump the Y. Very interesting, right? So I want to make sure you understand that when you put a hard flat underneath a curl flat that's shaded up, they'll play differently as well. Not knowing that is something, the difference between covering a route you thought was going to be covered and not covering a route, okay? Now, what is the best way? I mean, you can obviously leave the seam flats on there, or you need to manually put the Y on a curl flat, right? You're actually going to put them to a curl flat. You're going to put the underneath player to a hard flat, and this way, what you're doing is you're not telling him to shade a certain way. You're not telling him to react a certain way. They're going to play the way you want them to play, which is going to basically mean that the guy is not going to jump the Y anymore. He's going to go to the X. See the difference? Now the difference was basically we were able to manipulate the over-the-top coverage because people were trying to do a shortcut. So when you're seeing your streamers and they're doing this, what they're actually doing is they're putting their player in a curl flat, they're putting their player in a hard flat, and then they're doing the same thing over here on this side, and they're making all these adjustments very, very quickly. It looks the same at the end of the day, but they're not taking the short route of shading up. If they were to do that, then you're going to see that they're going to get manipulated to the corner all the time. That curl flat will stay in the seam the entire time. Let me go ahead and put this Y on a streak, put the X on and out, okay? Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I have these guys in the right type of setup. I changed all their zones. I did not shade up. And what you're going to see is this guy is going to go to the left side. He's going to cover that player, right? Now, if I was to do this to where I shade up, what you're going to see here is the guy is going to be playing the middle a lot more. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to this, right? So I'll do this type of deal. This guy's going to be playing the middle a lot more. and now I have this guy over here on the corner. So if you don't want your zones to be sucked into the middle, you have to change them individually. You cannot do the shade up. And I can't tell you how many times I get this question. You know, I'm doing what I see this streamer do. I see what this pro player is doing, and it's just not working the same way. What am I doing wrong? How am I making this wrong? So I figured I'd make a video out of it, right? Make a video of, if you want to do the curl flats, hard flats, individually change each zone. Do not shade up, and you're going to get a lot more success of getting the players to play as their designed are. Now, if you're struggling on that curl route, absolutely shade him up. And what that's going to do is you're going to see that he's going to stay on the curl route, but he's going to leave the outside open. So knowing the differences of what you're facing is really a nice thing to understand. And it's something that you want to make sure that when you're attacking players, seeing how they shade is a very, very important thing, because if they shade up and they're doing this 3-3-5 wide defense and you notice that they're shading up, they're going to shade up all game. They're not changing their zones because they're programmed to not change their zones, and you're going to be able to attack them all game long doing that. And that's something that you want to make sure that you know from an offense standpoint, but know the correct way on defense to make sure that you don't get penalized by not doing it the correct way and having the best defense out there. So I appreciate you guys on this video. Please go ahead and give us any suggestions on any videos that you want to do. This was a commonly asked question, so I wanted to make sure that I answered it for you. If there's any specifics, any playbooks, any type of situations, make sure you drop it in the comments, and that way I could definitely try to address them individually as we make more videos. I appreciate you all. Check out our social media, and we'll see you on tomorrow's video.